What's up, everybody? Matt Gajewski here, back again with the Odd Shopper channel. And today we're talking college basketball bets ahead of Thursday, March the 9th. Before we get started, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all other content goes live. If you're listening on podcast, please leave a rating and review over there too. That helps us a ton. And we are brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook today. They have a phenomenal no-brainer offer for you guys where you can bet $5 on any pregame money line. And if that bet wins, you turn your $5 into 150 automatically. So my recommendation is going over to DraftKings Sportsbook, finding the biggest favorite. Today, Wichita State is minus 15.5 over Tulsa. You hit Wichita State on the money line, and if that wins, you turn your $5 into 150 automatically. The link to that is in the video description below. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. The legal age for gambling in most states is 21 plus. All right, I'm still sick and Canva is down, so that means we have no graphics today. I'm sorry, you guys got to look at my face the whole time. But we push ahead to our Michael Jordan flu game. Yesterday was decent, 7-6 overall for a slight profit. We had a couple double downs for games in the videos. So we had the under in West Virginia, Texas Tech, and Texas Tech, 1-1 there. Georgia Tech and Pittsburgh had Pitt and the under there, 1-1 there. And then we had the under in the Virginia Tech NC State game. That one did not go according to plan, but balanced it out with a couple others. Hit DePaul. Was lucky to hit North Carolina, but let's move forward with today's picks. First one we have on the board is Baylor minus 3.5 against Iowa State. This is the third meeting between these teams, and Iowa State actually took the first two, which was surprising to me, but Baylor has a lot of advantages. These teams are actually built pretty different. Iowa State is a defensive team. They're 12th in defensive efficiency, 184th on offense. Baylor, exact opposite, 19th on offense, 147th on defense. Both these teams pretty similar rebounding, and pace favors Baylor slightly in terms of speed. But overall, you can look back at some of the metrics from the first games, and Baylor's due for some pretty gnarly positive regression. The first game was 77-62 in favor of Iowa State, but shot quality actually had that as a Baylor win. And then the second game, Baylor lost again, 73-58. Now, shot quality had this as an Iowa State win, but it had it much closer, 65-62. So Baylor right in that game. And the big factor here is Iowa State still doesn't have Caleb Grill. If you look across the industry, there's some great tools where you can find out how valuable a player is to the team. EvanMaya.com is one of these with his Bayesian performance rating. Caleb Grill's the second most valuable player to this Iowa State team, and they dismissed him. So that's going to be key against Baylor here. Now, Baylor's missing Langston Love, but luckily they have a very deep guard rotation. Keontae George, LJ Cryer, and Flagler, those players can shoot threes over Iowa State. And I think that's going to be a mismatch here. When you look at Iowa State's three-point defense, they definitely can be had in that regard. So far in the year, they're 129th in three-point defense, whereas Baylor takes the 25th most threes in the country, and they're 43rd in three-point percentage. So a lot favoring Baylor. They're getting pounded in the market and taking a lot of money. We will stay there. Going to our next game, we will talk about Providence and UConn. Bet this towards the under at 146. It's now down to 143. I think that's okay. These teams are both awesome on offense. Providence 22nd, UConn 12th, but UConn's also awesome on defense. They're 11th here overall. Providence is 139th. So you might be wondering, how is this an underplay here? Well, both these teams play a little bit above average in terms of pace, but Providence has maybe seen the sharpest drop in pace all season long. On the year, they average 71.6 possessions per game, well above the league average. But since February, they've slowed to 253 in pace. And again, these teams have played twice. The first meeting finished with a total, I should say, of 134. The second meeting, 156, went over the total. But again, you can reference shot quality here. They had the final score 67-76, indicating some positive shot variance in that contest. So we'll back the under here. It's a pacing situation here for UConn and Providence. That should be an issue. And UConn plays elite defense. So we will back the under. And one thing I can share with you guys is our Odd Shopper Premium tool. something I've been trying to use to reference myself when I can. We'll bring you behind the glass and talk a little bit about this. It's a great resource to find bets. Essentially, it looks across the market using our tools and finds lines that might stand out, lines that are lagging behind maybe some of the other retail books. And one example of this right now is Virginia taking on North Carolina. Currently on BetMGM, they're -1.5. That gives you a 6% ROI, 54% win percentage. Again, this model basically looks across the industry, looks at what the sharp books are. This is back tested so you can know it's legit. And then it finds lines, the best lines you can possibly find to get your money down in the right place. And to speak the stylistics, not just the tools, Virginia's facing a UNC team that just lost Armando Bacot from last week's game. So the line movement here makes a ton of sense. And there are some books that are just going to lag behind. So right now, that's BetMGM. This is one I like overall towards the spread, and one that makes sense when you look at what happened in yesterday's game to North Carolina. They're just walking wounded with Armando Bacot out of the lineup. So again, this odd shopper tool, there's actually a free 7-day trial. My recommendation would be, starting this either right now ahead of the conference tournaments or waiting till like Wednesday next week. So you can really maximize the most out of March Madness and take a look at what books might be lagging behind, where these models say the value is. I happen to agree with it. And in this spot, find this Virginia bet to be very interesting. All right. Oh, link in the description below if you'd like to take advantage of that free trial. Back to the full face, I don't know what you call full screen of me. My apologies again. All right, last game we'll talk about here is TCU, Kansas State. This one, you can find Kansas State +2, +2.5. I live in Wisconsin, so I can't shop it, but if you can find the 2.5, it's definitely worthwhile. OddsShopper will show you that, but right now we'll talk about it regardless because I think it's a solid play whether you're in a legal state or not. Kansas State, they rank 129th in offense, TCU's 111th. On defense, Kansas State 31, TCU 35. Rebounding, Kansas State 107, TCU 149. These teams are almost carbon copies of each other. They look very similar. But they split the series 1-1. It was essentially a blowout in favor of the home team each time. And the big key here, as we go to a neutral location, is TCU will be without Eddie Lampkin. He left the team. A little bit of controversy surrounding that. And according to evanmaya.com, where with the Bayesian performance rating, Eddie Lampkin is the second most valuable player to this team. And it makes a lot of sense. He's really the only player that provides elite size. They have a couple guys that are, 6'9", like Xavier Cork, 6'7", like Jacoby Coles. But that's going to be tough against Kansas State, who has a lot of options in their front court. We're talking about like 6'9", Ish Massoud, David Gesson. They have a lot of tall guys down there. And they have enough bodies where even if one of them gets in foul trouble, they're still going to have a size advantage in this game. And they're going to have one across the board. Removing Lampkin really hurts this team on the inside. And not to mention, you have two 40% three-point shooters in Keontae Johnson and Ish Massoud, and then Marquise Knoll shoots over 35%. So when you get the ball inside, you have the elite shooters you can kick to on offense. These teams look very similar really across the board. They're sloppy with turnovers on offense, fouls, carbon copies of each other. So to me, you're getting Kansas State as a dog. These teams are almost even. And then you're removing a key player from the game on the TCU side with Lampkin. This will be one that we take towards Kansas State +2, +2.5 if you can find it. That'll do it for us today with the Odd Shopper channel. We'll be back every day until college basketball is over. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think of these picks and any others. If you'd like to reach out on Twitter, you can find additional betting content there, talking all things college basketball, and love to chop it up with any of you that would like to. Otherwise, good luck today, everybody. Enjoy the game since our last mega slate. We'll see you again next time.